We locked doors. We worried about security. What's being described in Ezekiel 38 is not something that we have a concept of now, because it just ain't happening now. We are not a tranquil people living in open cities with no bars, all dwelling securely, not locking our doors. That is just not what is happening right now in the land of Israel. Could this war, and I'll tell you, I do think this war is important. I do think this war is really pushing the envelope for a few reasons. This is one of them. For Gog and Magog to happen, it means what? It means the Jewish people did not do tshuva. This war is basically going to be forced upon us because all the time that we had to return to Hashem has lapsed. And then this will be how Hashem has to finally redeem the Jewish people in a very public and terrifying way. If the Jewish people are doing tshuva, this war won't need to happen. What is starting to happen? Poll just came out. 50% of Jews under the age of 29 are keeping Shabbos in the land of Israel. That's a staggering number. That number has basically doubled since 10/7. So what are we starting to see? We're starting to see that maybe this part here is starting to have an effect. If there's no terrorists in the land of Israel, and there's no, rockets being shot in by, any other country, why in the world would we be spending 25% of our GDP, probably more, on wars? Why does every bus station, every, mall you go to have security guards? If we don't have these enemies anymore, why would we need any of these measures? So again, if Gaza gets cleared out, and you start to see a mass immigration from Judea and Samaria for Muslims, and there's no more Hezbollah, and there's no more Iran, and there's no more, any of these things, you could start to see how this specific factor of Gog and Magog might start coming true. Again, Gog, for this war to happen, Gog is going to have to come on a very tranquil, unprepared, living secure people. We're not there yet. If you go to people in Ashkelon, for instance, Ashkelon, since the day that I got to Israel, any time there were flare-ups and rockets from Gaza, Ashkelon got hit first because they were the biggest city closest to Gaza. They were 10, 15 miles away. I can't remember the last time that Ashkelon got any sort of... So again, if you ask the people that are living, just I'm giving an example, in Ashkelon right now, how has your life changed over the past, say, 5 years? They will say, well, we used to live in a bomb shelter, now we don't. So again, the security is starting to trend, hopefully, in this direction of, I shall ascend upon the land of open cities, come upon a tranquil people who dwell securely, all of them living without a wall. They have no bars or doors or gates. Are we there yet? No. Unequivocally, no. You're not walking to Ramallah with your kippah on. You're going to get your head chopped off. Can you see, with what's going on now, how we're maybe being eased into this direction? Clearly. God willing, and clearly. Okay? What else is about this war? According to the laws of nature, the Jewish people have 0 chance of winning this war. Because again, we might have a great military now, but the way that this is being described, at some point, we're going to be so unprepared for war because it's just not going to be like anything that we think about. Gog, on the other hand, is going to come with every single, soldier in the entire world with all of the weaponry onto the land of Israel. So let's just say that they did that now. Even with how powerful our military is now, we would still stand no chance. I mean, if the entire world right now, China, Russia, all descended upon Israel and said, according to the law of nature, we'd have no chance. We don't go by the laws of nature. We're Jews. We have a unique connection to Hashem because, again, Hashem only created the world for his Torah, and there was only one nation that accepted his Torah, and that was us. Every other nation had a chance, they all blew it. So that is what makes us unique. That is what makes us special. That is what makes us chosen. One thing and one thing only. It's not that we're, amazing at math. It's not that we're, very good with computers. It's not that we're good with money. It's that we accepted the Torah, ergo we have a eternal bond with God. What else is described in this world? A terrible earthquake shall befall the land of Israel. Mountains shall be overthrown, cliffs shall topple, and every wall shall crumble to the ground. And every man's sword shall be turned against his king. Meaning, Gog is going to come in. They're going to invade the land of Israel. Then all of a sudden, just Hashem is going to whack the land with earthquakes, mountains crumble. I mean, just like all hell breaks loose, basically. And then Gog's soldiers, they start turning their swords on each other. They get punished with pestilence and with bloodshed. Hashem will rain torrential rain, hailstones, and sulfurous fire upon him and his hordes, and the many people with him. And then here's the most important part. Le'enei goyim, to the eyes of the nations. That's what it says. 200 years ago, how could this war have happened that the entire world could have seen Le'enei goyim? That everyone could have seen exactly what's going on in Israel, and that Gog is being, and his hordes are being destroyed. Could you have seen this 200 years ago? No. Could you see it now? Sure. Who live streamed their massacre on 10/7? Hamas. They literally live streamed it. You could see them murdering and raping people on their Telegram live stream. So again, you have to go by the text. The text says specifically all the things that Hashem is going to do, and you'll see why at the end when we do the why, because that's the motive. Can't convict someone you don't have a motive, right? So what's the motive for this? We're talking about that. That's the last of the 5. We're just in the what right now. Le'enei goyim, to the eyes of the nations. Everyone is going to be able to see what is going on. How are you going to be able to do that? Well, now we have internet. Now we have news that can be dispersed, to all ends of the globe at the same time. When you start to see things like, again, Le'enei goyim, when you start to see things like Elon Musk being able to set up a Starlink for people to get internet access in the far reaches of Africa that have never even seen a computer, this is all the reason why, because every single person in the world is going to get to see Hashem's final revelation. Le'enei goyim. You're going to be able to see what's going on your TV, on your phone, on your computer. Le'enei goyim. This is something very, very important. Now, the when. When is this going to happen? It says specifically, Ba'acharis hashanim, at the end of the years, right? So again, we talked about Acharis Yamim. This is the end of this says Ba'acharis hashanim, the end of the years. Okay? So again, there clearly is multiple times in the Torah and in the Tanakh references to this world ending. When is this going to happen? It says specifically in Ezekiel, B'acharis hashanim, at the end of the years. What else does it say? It's going to happen against a people that has been restored from the sword. The people there at the time have come from all over the world to this particular land. What's going on right now? What's going on in the last, say, 100 years? Jewish people have come from, I believe, over 120 different countries back to the land of Israel. I had friends in Israel. I davened at a shul that was Libyan Jews. I've got friends from Canada, from South Africa, from basically every state in America. The UK, France, Germany, everywhere. What does it say? Again, when is this going to happen? When a nation restored from the sword are going to be flocking back to this particular land